Imagine you're sitting on your couch texting your best friend while they drive to your house. You send them a text asking when they're going to get to your house. You start to get impatient and send another text. After waiting hours and still no reply, you start to have a sinking feeling, and suddenly you realize that text will never be answered. I'm sure many people have guessed by now that today I will be talking about texting while driving. Today in my speech, I will be talking to you about why this is important, ways to avoid doing this, what to do if someone is doing it, and how you can help raise awareness. So let's get started. Why is this important? Every year there are about 636,000 traffic accidents as a result of drivers being distracted by cell phones. This results in 2,600 deaths and 330,000 injuries. Think that'll never happen to you? Think again. A recent study showed teens are 4 times more likely to die in car accidents, and in 2009, it was reported drivers' reaction times were 50% slower when texting than when driving with no distractions. That's not a lot of time to save yourself. And now, with almost everyone having a cell phone and over half the world's population driving, this is a problem we cannot ignore. Ways to stay safe. We all know it's dangerous to take your eyes off the road, even just for a second. But it's not surprising that almost all of us do. We live in a world where every second there's a new status, tweet, or text to read. It may sound dumb or overdramatic, but it's become a reflex for almost everyone to automatically check their text messages no matter what the situation. That super important text message might not seem so important, now that a recent study shows sober people texting while driving are 6 times more likely to crash than sober drivers who are not texting. Next time you're driving and get a call or a text, pull over before answering. Last but not least, try to keep the amount of people in the car to a minimum. With every person, the chance of crashing increases. What to do if someone is doing this? Sitting in the car while the driver is texting is almost like counting down the seconds until you crash. It can be hard to talk to the driver about it though. No matter how hard it may seem, speak up. Try bring it up and say it makes you nervous and you'd prefer if they didn't text while driving. Remember to stay calm and don't be accusing or rude when mentioning it. That way they won't think you're being offensive. One won't be hurt. They'll also be more likely to listen to you and then put their cell phone away. If that doesn't work or you weren't able to confront them, make up an excuse why you can't drive with them anymore and find another way to get to where you're going. If another driver is texting while driving, signal for them to stop, honk, or just drive around and away from them. No matter what, never yell out your window, swear, or call the other driver mean names. It may seem a little awkward, but no one has the right to put your life at risk by not focusing on driving by multitasking. How to help raise awareness. Texting while driving is an issue that's been ignored for years. Now with more digital and electronic distractions than ever, phone-related deaths are skyrocketing. Recently, people in the media have become serious about the issue and raising awareness. For starters, countries around the world, such as Japan, Egypt, Germany, all provinces in Canada except New Brunswick and 13 states in the United States have banned texting while driving. In the 2008 movie, 7 Pounds, Will Smith's character commits suicide so he can donate his organs to save the lives of 7 people that he killed during a car accident. He does this to try and make up for the 7 people he killed in a car accident because he was texting. Selena Gomez decided to help out by teaming up with State Farm Insurance's Project Ignition to spread the word. Recently, while walking home from a friend's house, I almost had my life snatched away by the foolishness of texting while driving. The driver was texting and drove through a red light and missed hitting me by a mere inches. This is something that could have happened to anyone in this room. You could help by being part of Teen Driving Safety Day on the 3rd Tuesday of each October. Recently, some high school students in Illinois turned to Facebook and Twitter to spread the word. They all posted how unsafe texting while driving was on their walls and tweeted about it. If you're looking for more information on texting while driving, check out sfprojectignition.com or betterteendriving.com. Something small you can also do to help is tell family and friends about how dangerous texting while driving is. Remember, anyone can make a difference as long as they try. In conclusion, I would like to remind everyone that car crashes can happen to anyone and you should never get distracted by your cell phone, BlackBerry, or radio while driving. No text message should be important enough to lose your life. Thank you for listening and drive carefully.
Water. Blue gold. We drink it, play in it, and grow our food with it. We can go weeks without food. But without water, we die. Yet what do? We pollute it and waste it. We take it for granted. We turn the tap and there it is. But what if one day it wasn't? We have to get involved and get educated about water conservation. All of us. Do you know how much water it takes to make a t-shirt? 3,000 liters. A hamburger? 50,000 liters. To grow an orange? 52 liters. What we eat has a direct effect on the water we use, and we have to start taking responsibility of how much we use. Because if we don't change the way we behave towards water, sometime in our lifetime, a water crisis will change it for us. Perhaps you think our lakes are so big, we could never run out of water. Not too long ago, the 4th largest lake in the world was the Aral Sea in Russia. The Russian government decided they were going to grow cotton around the lake, and they used the water from nearby rivers to grow the cotton. Without the rivers, the lake started shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And now, it's just a tiny puddle of what it used to be. 80% of the lake has disappeared. The 4th largest lake in the world. Gone. In the next 20 years, the amount of water we use on the planet is expected to double. Demand for water will be more than our supply. Although the Earth is covered by 70% water, most of it is salt water. In other words, if all the water in the world could be poured into a bucket, only 1 spoonful would be drinkable. Luckily, we are the 3rd most water-rich country in the world. Only Brazil and Russia have more. Some countries aren't so lucky. 1 out of 6 people in the world doesn't even have access to safe drinking water. And every minute, 4 people around the world die from a water-related disease. Think about that. While you've listened to me talk, 16 people have died. Water is being sold like a product in many countries. Large companies give governments money, and in return, they get to control and sell the water in that country. When there are shortages,
Ryan, please report to the main office. Ryan, please report to the main office for the first message. Thank you.
When there are shortages, they will sell the water to the highest bidder. Can you imagine your parents telling you not to shower today because they can't afford it? Or that our water is being rationed because
Emily Young and Rachel Mann, please come to student services. Emily Young and Rachel Mann, student services.
because billions of liters of water from our lakes has been sold to China. Water is not a product. We can't decide if we want to buy it or not. We need it to live. We cannot allow companies to sell water for profit because we have to make sure all humans have a right to fresh drinking water and not just the wealthy ones. But what if we do nothing? In the 21st century, it is very likely wars will be fought over water. Tensions have already risen between India and Pakistan over a shared river. Many countries have warned the United Nations that water is an urgent issue to be dealt with this year. We can't wait for a crisis. We have to change now. When it comes to water, we cannot allow us to become a have and have not planet. Those with water and those without. Look, if I have an iPod and a kid in Kenya doesn't, it's not the end of the world. But if I have a swimming pool and he can't even find enough water to drink, then that's a big problem for him. It's life or death. And if it's 1 billion people in China who don't have enough water to drink, and they have a bigger army than ours, then we have a big problem. Because desperate times call for desperate measures. So what if we do nothing? I'm telling you, we cannot afford to do nothing. It's time we took a look at water, how we use it, how much we use, and how we take care of it. We have to conserve it. Our lives depend on it. The clock is ticking.
Imagine if you were suffering from lung cancer, and every breath you take involves tireless effort and excruciating pain. You wish to die. As you are so weak, the only way for you to commit this task is with the help of your closest friend or a relative. But your loved one must deny, as if they do assist you, they will be convicted of murder. Hello, fellow competitors, respected judges and audience. My name is McKenna, and I am here today to talk to you about why euthanasia should be legalized. Euthanasia is most commonly translated to good death, from its Latin origin. Euthanasia is when someone is terminally ill or wishes to die, and a third-party person ends the ill person's life. There are two types of euthanasia: voluntary euthanasia and involuntary euthanasia. Voluntary euthanasia is when someone asks to die, and voluntary euthanasia occurs most with people who have a fatal disease. Involuntary euthanasia is when someone kills an ill person because they think it is in the best interest of the patient. Involuntary euthanasia occurs most with people who are in a vegetative state, and their loved ones just can't bear to see them like this any longer. The ongoing debate about euthanasia is that many people see euthanasia as murder, and they will next convict the assisted, who really just helped end the ill person's life the way they wanted to. I personally believe that if you want to die, you have every right to go the way you want to. And if you aren't really living, everybody else should have the right to see you go as happy as possible. So therefore, I believe euthanasia should be legalized. Now that you know what euthanasia is, I would like to inform you of a very famous euthanasia case. The case of Dr. Jack Kevorkian. This is a voluntary euthanasia case. Between 1990 and 1998 in the United States, Dr. Kevorkian assisted over 130 patients in voluntary euthanasia. In 1999, Dr. Kevorkian was convicted, and he was sentenced to 10 to 25 years in prison. Despite his sentence, Dr. Kevorkian only spent 8 years in prison, but he was stripped of his medical license and also earned the not-so-good nickname, Dr. Death. I think that what Dr. Kevorkian did was actually a good deed, and he helped those 130 patients get their last wish. What Dr. Kevorkian did, he did in the most painless ways as possible, and the patients got what they wanted. So what's so wrong with that? Whose life is it anyways? This was a plea from the late Sue Rodriguez. Sue was a terminally ill British Columbian who suffered from ALS. ALS is a muscular disease where your muscles slowly deteriorate. I think this quote states so much about euthanasia. Whose life is it anyways? Why should the government have any say over what you do with your own body? If you aren't really living, why does everybody else have to watch you suffer slowly? Whose life is this? Now I'm sure everybody in the room, or everybody on the entire planet has a goal, a wish, or a dream. Now imagine that your only goal in life is not to be suffering all the time, in pain. But you can't have the slightest bit of hope, not even a fragment of belief that your wish will ever come true. The people that hope for the right to die have one of the most important wishes in the whole world, but their goal can't be reached until the government realizes that euthanasia is not a hideous feat of murder. Most people will end up dying from an uncontrollable cause, such as a heart attack or a stroke. But if you got to choose the way you wanted to die, wouldn't you want to go the way the 130 patients of Dr. Kevorkian went? With dignity and in peace. I hope my speech has changed your opinion on euthanasia, and for more information, please go to mindprod.com/humanrights/euthanasia.html. Have a nice day and thank you for your time.